Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fifth episode of Endocast. As usual, hosted by Ahmed Shauki. Hi, Ahmed.
Hi, Francesca, my favorite co host in Endocast. So, our guest arrived, Dr. Muhammad Zafarani, gold member at Style Italiano Endodontics. He's a good friend of us, and I believe he's the best to tell us how to manage the famous nightmare of separated instruments.
So, Mohammed, welcome to Endocast. Can you tell us when do you decide that you are going to bypass that file?
Okay, hi Ahmad, hi Francesca. I'm very happy to be with you today and especially answering questions about the biggest nightmare, broken files. So, your question, Francesca, is about when to choose to bypass or to retrieve the separated files and how to make the decision. So actually, we have many factors to for decision making or controlling the decision when to retrieve or when to bypass. First, and for me, the most important is the visibility. If I can see the file, so I have a chance to do retrieval. If I can see it under magnification for sure, either by eye loops, high magnification eye loops, or microscope, so I have a chance to retrieve it. But not only visibility is a factor, we have also the location where the file is located, either in coronal, middle, or apical. So most of time, if it is coronal or middle, we can go simply with retrieval. But at the apical third, we have also like in which phase of shaping the file gets separated. If it is an initial phase of shaping, we need to manage. If it is in the final phases, so we have also a chance to leave the file and operate over it. So, so location and visibility are very important for decision making. Also, the risk of complication. If you are dealing with thin roots or if you are dealing with curved roots, so maybe bypass could be better in terms of conservation to root canal structure. And also, not speaking about myself, speaking in general, clinician experience is very important in decision making. If you are expert, if you already treated many cases with the retrieval, so you can go for this option. If you are new, maybe bypass could be preferred option. Especially, it doesn't need much tool or no need to be familiar with retrieval tools. So mostly these are the factors for that will be considered during decision making for bypass or retrieval.
Well, I totally agree with you, Mohammed, in all those factors. Let me ask you a very important question regarding the patient. How can you educate the patient about the bypass option? Because many times the patients say that I want to remove that metal from the root canal. It's gonna cause me a disease, a chronic disease, and something like this. And I came to you because you are a master and you are good at this, and you will remove it. But you find that the bypass is the best for you and for the patient. So how can you educate the patient about that?
This is a very, very nice question because the patient management is very important. And actually, this comes before even starting the treatment, not during or not after. Before starting the treatment, we need to inform the patient about the treatment options. And if we do bypass, it's okay. The file came out, it's okay also. So we need to teach him that leaving the file inside is not a big issue. It's okay as long as we are doing good cleaning and proper disinfection. So describing the treatment option and prognosis for the patient before starting is very important. And I think this will also build the kind of confidence between you and the patient, not to tell him after finishing the treatment that the file is still inside, so don't worry. No, no. Better to inform before starting the treatment.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's better to tell everything in advance, otherwise it's going to sound an excuse. And so it's
Exactly.
so true.
Exactly.
And Mohammed, let's go inside the tooth. What are the very first steps that you take in the journey of bypassing the insulin?
Okay, so it's like we are speaking about the bypass technique, how to bypass. So, first is to, after a file gets separated, either you broke the file or you're dealing with a referred case with a broken file. uh, we need to do a proper irrigation uh, into the canal. Proper irrigation is very important. Some dentists just after separating a file, getting a hand file, trying to bypass without doing a proper irrigation. Actually, in bypass, we need to find the space beside the separated file. So before introducing our hand files, we need to make sure that there is no dentine chips or dentine debris blocking the spaces around the separated file. So it's very important to do proper irrigation. After that, we need to select the manual file that will make the bypass procedure more easy. Actually, any hand file could be used for bypassing the separated file, but I would prefer using C files or D finders for the bypass option, because most of time when you are using the manual file, it will hit by accident the separated file. So it could be bent, it could be just unusable, so you need to discard. But this kind of files, which is a C files or D finders, are files which is heat treated. It will resist this buckling, so it will, if it hit the file, it won't bend that easy like regular manual files. So we need to get these files. Short one is preferred, and we need to pre-curve the file, introduce the file into. Most of time, it will be introduced into the inner wall of the curve. The file separated in the curve. The head of the file most of time will be lying on the outer wall. So actually, introducing the file into the inner wall of the curve will facilitate locating the catch beside the separated file. Once we found the catch, we start like doing a glide path beside the separated file. Watch winding motion, very, very gentle watch winding motion. And sorry, it will take time because it is not like doing a glide path in regular canal. You have part of the canal which is already metal. So it will take time. You need to have patience. You start to pre-curve your file, and once you find the catch, watch winding motion with lots of arrogant watch winding motion till you go completely beside the file. Once you go completely beside the file using a file 8 or size 10, you need to increase the preparation manually, maybe 15, 20. After that, after that, you may use rotary files or reciprocating. We can say you can use motor-driven files, but it would be risky. So you need to take care. If you are going to use motor-driven files, you need to have a less tapered file, so it won't hit against the metal too much. Also, it should be of a small size, smaller sizes than the last manual file that you use. Uh, if you failed or if you're feeling risk of separating another file after bypass, simply continue the full case with manual preparation. Don't go for rotary if you have a risk of separation. This is simply the bypass protocol without going into too much of details that could bother the audience. And you can give me more questions so I can reply in details.
Oh, okay. So now we went through the bypass protocol, but you mentioned that you are going to catch a space beside the file with a stiff file or a file that can resist buckling. And you mentioned that you can use the C files and the D finders. And I remember maybe a couple of months ago we had a similar discussion about the type of files, and wrong names that people think about it, like the C files, what C stands for, and what are the definders. So, can you just give us a brief hint about the difference between those files that are used, the C files, the definders, and similar files?
Okay, so I remember that discussion, Ahmed, about the C file and what's the abbreviation of C in Endontics.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You asked
most
me.
clinician yes, exactly. Most clinician interpret C as or misinterpret C as a handle file which is made of carbon steel, which is not.
Yeah.
The C file is a files for catheterization. Catheterization means it's like going into narrow space trying to find a path. This is a C file actually made for, and we have C files and C pluses. We have difference between C files and C plus. C plus have an active tip, so it has a penetrating ability more than the C files. So clinician should take care if he's using C plus files. So it's better, or it could work perfectly in hand of experts, but in beginner's hand, C files may be dangerous. C plus files. So this is a C files for D finders. Actually, the cross section of the file is like a letter D. So this file also will engage into the space beside the separated file without getting unscrewing easily. So with this cross section, the file has also an ability to penetrate beside the separated file.
Which motion you use?
For me, if I'm using the C files, I like to use the watch winding motion, the classic watch winding motion. It's like a glide path preparation besides a separated file. But the issue is it will take time, it will take effort. That's why in some cases I would prefer to use a reciprocating handpiece for manual files. Sometimes we use it. Yes, it will facilitate the procedure, decrease the time and effort taken by the regular hand files or the regular watch winding technique. The reciprocating handpiece or manual files, it is the same way you're using the watch winding motion. It's clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise in equal angles. So we don't have like a complete engaging around the space. So also possibility of fracture for the hand file is very, very less.
Thank you very much. And talking about experience of the operator, uh, sometimes colleagues can go attempting a bypass, and maybe initially it goes well, but then at a certain point, unfortunately, as they proceed apically, they can create a false path or a lateral perforation. How can they avoid such mishap during bypass?
Okay. Yes, it happened. It happened. Unfortunately, it happened. 2 points here. We need to do as we already pre-curve the tip of the hand file. We need to know where exactly the tip is located inside the canal. Here comes the role of the stopper. After pre-curving the hand file, we need to adjust the black mark on the stopper or the stopper direction, that arrow on the stopper, to be in the same direction with the tip of the file. So when we introduce the file inside the canal, we know exactly where is the tip. This is very important. Second issue is after introducing the file, we need to know that each millimeter down to the apex is considered an achievement. So take care after gradually going down, take repeated radiographs, make sure that you're going besides the separated file. Not to be surprised at the end that you're going in the false path. So if you are not sure that you're going in the same direction besides the file, take radiograph, confirm you are going in the right path. If you are sure, and this comes also by experience, if you are sure, so it's okay. I can reach to full preparation without taking an intra operative radiographs.
An inner wall or outer wall?
Okay, so if we understand how the file gets separated, and I think you and Ahmad and in the previous episodes covered this issue very well. So when the file gets separated inside the canals, especially curved canal, the file won't stay standing in the middle of the canal. The head of the file will be lying on the outer wall. See, so in most of time, it will totally block the outer wall of the curve. So if you want to find the space, most of time, here I'm trying to select my words carefully, is most of time, not every time. Most of time you'll find the space easily into the inner wall, between the file and the inner wall of the curve. So once you pre-curve the hand file and you adjust the stopper with the same direction of the tip, introduce the file into the canal, make sure that the tip is directly toward the inner wall, and try to find a catch by just a simple picking motion up and down, gentle up and down, up and down. Once you find, till you find the catch or the binding point between the file and the dentine wall. You can take radiograph at this stage to make sure that you are going in the right path. Then you can continue preparing the space around the file.
All right. So now we got information from you about the pre-curvature, the files, motion, and everything regarding the protocol in details. So, Mohammed, I got one last question after you explain all this. Sometimes after we successfully bypass and shape the root canal, so we get this extra confidence about the ability to remove the file because supposedly it will be loose inside the canal. So, does this bear a risk? Does this a good option to think about after we successfully bypassed and shaped the root canal?
Okay, this is a very nice and very funny question. I think you will agree with me. Most of time after completing a bypass procedure, having already a space, many dentists think that if I introduce anything that can vibrate the file, like a sonic or ultrasonic tool, the file won't come out. But we need to take care. Already there is a space below the file and over the file. So if you try, you still have a risk of pushing the file epically, and this what will happen in most of cases. So I would prefer, if you succeeded in bypass, fully bypass, continue the procedure and do your obturation without trying to retrieve, unless you're 100% sure that if you try to vibrate the file, it will come out. As a time, I think this would be better. But if you have the risk, don't risk yourself, don't risk your procedure and patient. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
I think it was way more than a brainstorming on bypassing files. It was a course, I think. So thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Francesca. Actually, I was very happy to be with you today and enjoyed the time a lot with you. Looking forward to see you again soon in another episode. Maybe we can speak in details about another option in broken file management and how to overcome this nightmare. Maybe.
Of course.
Yeah, we need to discuss that option. The other option, of course, opposite to bypass is the retrieval. So we need to think about the next episode.
Yeah. And we will need you, Mohammed. So don't forget. We need you. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching this episode, and stay tuned for the next episode of Indocast.